Amani track. There goes your theme music right there.
Whatever. Hey, what's good, everybody? My name is MC Armani Rain. You are back to Roti and Poutine. Thank you for joining the chat. You are here live and direct with the T.R.A.C. The historian himself, MC Bubba. And we have a very, very special
Bubby.
guest here
Bubby.
tonight. The Queen Bee herself, head honcho at Play Me Records, and our very good friend, the wonderful Reid Speed. How you doing?
What's up, y'all? I am fantastic. How's it going?
It's been good. It's been good on my side, right?
It's been an interesting day. It's been a
I,
day of running errands and troubleshooting.
I survived about a good 4 days of no power.
Oh yeah, tell us about
yeah.
that. So come on, fill us in.
Oh man, once upon a time there was light and it disappeared. We didn't know what was going on. We knew that everybody else didn't have power, but we felt privileged to have power. And then about 2 days or 3 days later, smash.
And what prompted this outage of power?
The transformer down the block blew. It caught fire for no reason. I'm guessing they must have just tried to oversurge that transformer and it just said, to hell no. So, yeah, we went 4 days. We weren't know how long, but we were happy they came. And the sad part about that is that we probably still got power before a lot of other people in the area. So, it was an interesting couple of days. We weren't, shouts to everybody behind the scenes that was looking out for us. Al Boogie, of course, Lady Jungle. We all was looking out for each other in the middle of that. So, that's my story. Yeah. And,
I completely forgot it happened. Sorry.
Yeah, it's cool. Cool. Oh, my tears are meant for me, Amani. My tears are for me.
Reid, how have you been? How's your? We normally ask how your quarantine's been, but it's been like 5 months now. Have you settled in to your quarantine? Like, are you starting to enjoy the predicament we've been placed in?
No, I'm not enjoying it, but I got a big boy job at the end of the year last year. It was the
Big
first
boy
time I
job.
had a real job. Like, my last real job was like working at Breakbeat Science. And now I work at Apple. I work for Apple. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I'm part of a team that is. We are monetizing DJ mixes for streaming the right way for the first time in history. So it's fucking really awesome project to be a part of.
Wow, that one, I love Apple, so there's no slack here. And
I just got an
two,
Apple Pencil today.
Yeah,
Nice.
he did. He's trying to draw. I said that.
I'm not
like it was
trying to draw. I
demeaning.
can
Yeah,
draw.
No, that was bad. I apologize. That was.
God,
I swear I didn't mean it to
Guys,
come off
the
like
show
this.
just started.
No,
Please.
Valiant's a fantastic artist, and I didn't mean to make it sound like that. That's my bad. As soon as it came out, I was like, that wasn't right. Anyway, forget Valiant. Can you talk? Can you talk more about this, or is this top secret business for now?
Some of it is top secret.
Okay.
I may be able to talk a little bit about it, but it's basically, that's been a goal of mine as long as I've been a DJ, is to find a way to get the people paid for a DJ mix. And the fact that I'm getting to do that is pretty amazing.
Yeah, you have been. I gotta. You know what? We'll get into that more later. But let it be
We're
known
gonna
that
give you your flowers tonight.
yeah, we can confirm that you've been on this mission for a very long time for so many, and that's super fire. But Valiant, how's your week been? Let's get before we not stop talking to you.
man, our old dog's just falling apart. So it's been kind of a dog health struggle at the house. So
That's kind
yeah,
of tough.
man, it's kind of rough. Like the Mastiff, Isla, she is on chemo. And she's currently not eating. So forcing her meds down. She's got low white cell count, which means basically what that means is that we're worried that the lymphoma is making it so that her marrow cannot produce white cells, which leads to infection. And she's old, and it's just like whatever. Anyway, my in-laws are paying for her treatment. It's just one of those things. I feel bad for people that can't afford that kind of treatment for their dogs or for their cats, and then they have to put their animals down. And I've been there before, and it's very, very sad. But
What'd you say,
anyway,
Reid?
Do you give the dog CBD?
That has actually come up in the past couple of days. Like, should we give her CBD? So I think we may try that if she's not eating tomorrow. She has an appetite stimulant from the vet, but we're thinking about trying that out just to see what happens.
It kind of can work. I had a cat that had cancerous tumors, and giving it to her to eat and putting it on the tumors, like, noticeably shrunk the tumors by a lot. As long as we did it, the tumors, like, actually completely disappeared at one point. It was just like, eventually she got too old and she couldn't fight it off anymore. But it definitely, I think, increased the quality of her life at the end of her life, like allowed her to eat more.
That is exactly what you want.
And yeah.
And then our Chihuahua, who, by the way, is, come here, you.
Here we go.
Right there.
Oh, God.
Hey, look at that. Wait, where'd it go?
Oh, you want to see more?
Yeah,
all right.
You can't just like.
This is Layla. She's half asleep.
Hey.
So she's old. She's 15.
Look at that tongue.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. She doesn't have teeth in that. She doesn't really have any teeth at all, actually. Anyway, she has had like her third kind of seizure in the past few months. And when she has a seizure, it like lasts a few hours. So it's not like a typical seizure. I'm thinking maybe it's somehow related to her regular heartbeat. It's depriving the oxygen to the brain. I don't know. Anyway, she's real old. She's falling asleep right now.
She's like, hey, what are you doing, man? Get to work.
Anyway, she's doing okay though, but it's just, we're always a little bit worried about her. But other than that, things have been kind of all right.
All right.
Just been one of those weeks, a little bit crazy, but
I have equally as sad. My kids were gone for the past month, and they're home now, so there's no more vacation. No, I'm just kidding. I'm happy to pick them up. Went to Virginia.
Fuck your kids.
Went to Virginia. We spent a couple days up there with the in-laws. Man, had a blast. Got an Airbnb away from everybody else. It was like super hyper clean the place when we got back in. It was clean when we got there. We cleaned it again. And just spent the weekend. It was good. Kids are back home, back on the grind. But we here today. I've had some doctor things, which we will address at some point. The next couple weeks will be a little different, but we still got some dope stuff lined up. But since we on the pet thing, do you mind if I ask? Because I know a lot of people want to know, Reid. And I hate to talk in this weird radio voice that I'm doing right now.
I was laughing about that.
You know what it is because I switched this whole system. It's not as loud as normal, so I'm just trying to not yell at y'all. So I'm doing this like real, quiet storm voice. Anyway, so your love for cats, it's in everything you do. And I'm sure people have asked you before, but I would like the inside scoop as the friend homie John. Like, what's that about?
What's that about?
Or is it just you love cats and that's all it is?
I mean, I love all animals, but cats are just kind of superior because they don't really want anything from you. Like, they want you to feed them and like clean their shit, but other than that, like they don't require anything of you.
Right.
So I find that to be superior, that they've somehow like whipped humanity.
In the immortal words of Robert De Niro,
into
frozen.
doing their bidding. What?
You froze there for a minute. If we were trying
you all froze too. That was weird.
Wait,
I'm keeping my nose on the frozen screen. That's nice.
All right. Anyway, I was gonna say, in the immortal words of Robert De Niro, from Meet the Parents, cats don't sell out the way dogs do.
I'm a dog person, so all this is kind of like.
I know I'm a dog person, but I have had cats as well.
I would love to have a dog. I just don't want to like have to do all the things required.
It's a lot. It's having another child for sure. There's no.
I mean, I don't have any children, so I'm free of care.
It would definitely be like having a third child if we picked up a dog for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Like I feel like dogs are just like children that never grow up.
No,
and then they become old. And then they become old people.
Then they go right from being babies to people, and they skip the part where you can have conversations with them.
Hey, quick question. We got to go before we. My bad. Track, was you about to ask the question?
I didn't want to say that I'm allergic to pets, but so just carry on.
Oh wow, you can't have pets. You're bitter.
Well, I had pets, but yeah, we'll just.
I want to know. Are you upset about it? It seems like
I'm not upset about it.
He does sound like he feels.
I had a couple of really close pets in my life for sure. Track had moments with pets, but I had to. We all moved on. Best way to say.
I didn't
Don't
mean
play
to-
the violin, please.
Yeah, no,
don't
I
play
felt
the
like I
violin.
hit a button. I apologize. Look, Track loves animals. Valiant can draw. We're moving on. Hey, what's your? I feel like we need to get all these really weird questions out of the way. They're not weird to us. They're only weird to you because you're sitting here for the
Yeah,
first time.
because this is your first time here,
Right.
so we understand.
And once we get out that, then we can talk like normal people, like I haven't known you for literally 20 years. If you had, are you sitting on a bouncy ball?
Yeah, on a yoga ball.
Sick.
Yeah, I know it's kind of annoying, but it's like very soothing to me.
No, you're good. My daughter, we all.
I get it.
Yeah,
I rock.
I just made sure like if you had to pee.
I just got one downstairs somewhere.
Anyway, so what would be your bucket list food? Because the show's Roti And Poutine.
Roti And Poutine.
So what would be if you had to go tomorrow and you were like, "This is my last
What does
meal."
Reid Speed like to eat?
What is
Wow.
what is
My
the cat
last
lady?
meal would probably be French fries and a chocolate malted milkshake.
That's
That's it? Not that's it. I don't mean to downplay it. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Just
because
French fries.
if I wasn't trying to keep myself alive and I was gonna
Well,
die,
wait,
No. Like this is it. Like you want the last.
Wait. This
Yeah.
is hold on. This is a deceivingly complex answer.
Right.
Fries from where?
Ooh, There you
Damn,
go.
we going in.
that's the important part. We're trying to figure out the taste. You know?
I mean, fries from Del Taco are very different than fries from McDonald's.
No, well, I don't really fucks with chain restaurants, but I can't really say I have a favorite like fry vendor. But I like shoestring. I don't like thick ass fries. I don't like fucking seasoned ass
Wait,
fries. Waffle
when you
fries,
say
curly fries,
shoestring, you mean like those real thin strands?
They gotta be crispy on the outside and mushy fried potato on the inside,
Right.
and like
Okay.
properly salted.
I don't
proper
seasoned
like
fries.
McDonald's.
Them shits is
Important.
trash. I do
McDonald's
like seasoned
not
fries
bad.
though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like sweet potato fries too. So
Sweet potato fries are okay, but they would not be on my bucket list. If I was dying
Alright.
tomorrow, they would have to be regular.
fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
Fries
enough.
that's
and
true.
milkshake,
Potato
yo.
all day.
What type
Malted-
of milk? Ooh, what type of milkshake?
Chocolate malted.
Ooh,
milk.
see, chocolate malted. Okay. From
That's
where?
like childhood. That's like all I ever wanted as a child, and I was so rarely allowed to have.
Oh,
I was
Oh.
denied sugar as a child. My mom like denied me fucking sugar. She went on that crazy
Mhm.
diet where you like cut everything out of your life.
Yeah.
And I was
My mom did that for a couple of years. I
diversity.
know that pain.
I did not eat anything at that time. So basically, I just didn't eat for like a year and a half. I ate like cereal and maybe like 1.5 meals a day. And yeah, what good did that do? None.
Yeah, no, I'm the same exact way. I didn't have any teeth problems until I became an adult and left the house. It was just like sugar everywhere because I was like,
But
it's
that's
mine.
like
I
a-
can do what I want.
yeah, that's an explosion. It sounds like, really, right? Once you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
out of become of adolescence, you're like,
That
oh,
was
this
really
goes
like
on
the
about-
only point of moving out. I was just like, this is it. I need to eat what I want to eat.
I need sugar.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd
Moving
stay
out,
in the
Mom.
crib, for sure.
What's this thing called? Sugar. God damn it.
It was just
Holy
mad
smokes.
Mountain Dew for years.
So just French fries and the milkshake? No, like burger or anything to go with that? Just the fries?
If it was the end of the world type.
No,
shit,
I'm not blaming you. That's cool.
Like Valiant doesn't believe you is pretty much what he's saying.
To be
right?
No,
fair,
no, I had
I will
fries.
dip a
Smart.
Wendy's fry in a Frosty, so I get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ah,
I
See,
had
you
just
on the
French
train.
fries for dinner a couple weeks
Too
ago, so
much.
I get that.
Oh,
This is too
you
much.
don't know
This is
Track? Track
absolutely
doesn't
too
know
much.
Reed.
No fries and Frosties, please.
You-
I don't do that either,
bugging.
but
Some, like, all juice.
I get the appeal.
Or
You
some like proper
bugging.
gravy, like poutine, of course.
Okay.
Like
I can't stand. I think poutine is one of the greatest culinary disasters of all time. It is so
oh,
wrong.
oh Lord.
Takes
Wrong.
everything I like about fries and ruins it. It makes them mushy and covered in shit I don't want anything to do with. The worst part of cheese, some fucking gravy. Get the hell out of here.
Y'all just mentioned Frosties and fries.
Yo, you
Y'all-
bugging. Don't start with that. You wrong. Let me check the chat. How y'all feel about that? Frosties and fries. If you ain't on the Wendy's, there's no point to go to Wendy's if you haven't been doing the fries and Frosties. You slipping. You are slipping. That's like
No,
Chick-fil-A
no,
dipping the fries in the Polynesian sauce. You gotta be different, man.
No. It's all
Sounds
about fries
like
and
one of my,
McDonald's barbecue sauce. That's what you dip the fries in. That's that.
Why is that any different from Polynesian sauce?
I don't even know because I've never had a Polynesian sauce, so I don't know. I don't support Chick-fil-A and their right-wing agenda. Actually, I don't.
Stop. I'm
Actually,
coming
I did not have a Chick-fil-A near me growing
Yeah,
up, so
keep
I
it
don't know.
Don't try. It's convenient activism.
Once. And it was
No. I would not support them anyway now, knowing what I know. But I've never actually lived near a Chick-fil-A.
I have to give the Atlanta disclaimer, you know what I'm saying? For the many people and the lovely people who work at Chick-fil-A, we cannot blame them for the boss being an asshat. You know what I'm saying?
Can't blame them. But their boss is an asshole and he sucks.
Facts.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm sorry to take it there. Anyway, when this is all over, go get yourself a fry and a frosty, and we'll come back and talk about this next
fries and frosty. All right. We got that down. I understand, okay? I absolutely understand, okay? For real.
No, I need you to do it, though. We're not going to finish the show until you agree.
I don't even think people in ATL like that stuff, man. Come on.
I don't know. Have you? By the way, I've just caught this the past couple of days. We get shit late in Canada, so have you guys seen the Reese's peanut butter cup commercials that are like ASMR? It's like the sound of the paper being peeled from the chocolate and shit.
Oh, really?
Like that's all it is. That's all the commercial is. And then like yeah, it's funny because my wife she watches ASMR videos to relax, and I was like, this is like some ASMR stuff, like ultra sensitive microphones, and all you hear is just like the paper peeled away from the chocolate, and like the sound of like biting it. It's just like it's weird.
That's a whole topic. That whole ASMR thing. It's a whole nother situation.
That's weird.
It's sound porn, pretty much. Yeah, but yeah.
Congratulations on your BBC mix.
Oh, thank you.
After the name of Ice
we're
as well.
excited for you. You know what I mean? Renee looking out.
All the tears.
All the tears.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
I was so emotional. I literally cried while it was happening. Drum and bass like gives me all the feels on so many levels, from like the good ones to the bad ones, and it's just like, I don't know. It was fucking crazy just to be like, oh, it took 25 years to get there.
But you got there, and that's fine.
But you were there, exactly. The story is written.
I've mixes on BBC before, but it wasn't drum and bass mixes. Like to crack the drum and bass was like the real one.
Yes, absolutely.
There's no deserving more. Like the second that popped up, when you were teasing it, I was like, "What is she hiding?" But then when you finally dropped the news, I was like, "Hell yeah, yo! Finally, like that's dope." Hey, shout out Soul Electors for following. We appreciate that.
Peace.
But yeah, that was a big moment, and I know that was special to you. And like we said, we're here to give you flowers all day. And you know, we not like to say just as a woman, but I know that's a big thing. You've been pushing the envelope for a very long time. I've known you for 20 years. I'm
more than that.
Yeah.
What, 22?
22 years. Like,
we put 20. Put 2 more on there, please.
Yeah. Like, you've been at the forefront of everything, not just for yourself, but bringing up people under you from like drum and bass, letting people on, the right people on. Let me tell you, Reid is one of those people who will pull your mic cord if you suck. She took no shit from nobody. It was great. People come up to me like, "Yo, man, she told me not to rap." I was like, "She never told me that." So I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you should do something about that.
People really were mad at me for so long. When I first moved to LA, all of the MCs here hated me. They were like, "She is the biggest fucking bitch." And I would just tell them, I'd be like, "Yo, you are not even booked for this. Like, what makes you time to just get up here and like do this shit?" Like, you think I would go up to like Goldie and be like, "Yo, man,
can I play a record?
Bag I got next. Let me get on there." Like, what?
Yo, move over, Goldie. Move over.
Yo, that shit used to be so. People walk up to me like, "Yo, man, she said we can't MC." I'm like, "Yeah, I knew that before you went up there." I don't know. And there was a time too. Random, because here we go on some French shit. There was a time you had an ear problem too, and like the mic would be coming through the speakers.
Oh God!
And at that point, you didn't want to talk to anyone.
Incident. This was a real thing that happened one night at Direct Drive. I hate to have to bring this up, but you just brought it up. I'm sorry. TC Islam, the worst.
Oh God!
The worst. I couldn't stand him being on my sets, and I asked him week in and week out, "Please do not get on my set." He would disrespect me. He would get on the set anyway. I asked Cliff, "Please don't let him get on the mic." Cliff would disrespect me. He would let him get on the mic. He'd be like, oh, he's my boy. He's my boy. I'm like, I don't care. He fucking sucks. He's terrible, and he's ruining my set. And he got so angry at me one night that I unplugged the mic because he was disrespecting me, and he went and plugged it back in and pointed it at the speaker and made feedback and caused my eardrum to like pop. I lost my balance. I had to go to the hospital.
What venue was that?
That was at Backtune.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I had to go.
I did not mean to strike this chord.
4 months straight in all of life. I couldn't even play shows. Like, I wasn't sure that I'd get my hearing back. Thankfully, I did. But it was like, dude, what? How disrespectful. And it's like, I hate to talk bad about him, but, like, he was so disrespectful.
Oh, I'm sure he has plenty stories.
There's a lot of...
I didn't know that's where this originated from, or I definitely wouldn't have.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why after that I was even more of an asshole about it. I was just like, no, I'm not. I will not have any. Like, if you can ask me, you are totally welcome to ask me if you can do this, and if you respectfully ask me, I will be like, cool. Do an intro at the beginning. Come on every 10, 15 minutes, hype up the crowd. We're good. If you're going to be like mammity Boeing, we're going to have problems.
Mammity. And people don't remember too.
Boeing?
It's good.
There you go. MC Reid Speed in the house, y'all. Let's get it.
Bars. Rapper Talk is back. What's good too is like, and I keep forgetting to bring shit up like this with the other people we have on, but like people don't know, man. We were in the trenches. Like we were warehouse parties back in the day. Like before everything was all clubs and glitter and gold and fancy sound systems and everything. Like there was times.
I don't know about fancy. Hold on.
Yeah, it was fancy. It was a bit fancy, like from 96, 97 on to about.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was not.
Come on.
We
had Club Love. We had fun. We had what do we have?
Yeah.
All right.
In Buffalo, we had a couple of decent sound systems.
We had like Centrofly, and they didn't play drum and bass there. They played drum and bass at Philo like 5 times, and that wasn't even fancy. That was just like a mainstream club.
Yeah, that was just a mainstream club. But you know, I mean, I saw some big speakers in my time that looked a little.
Just, it's messed up when the drum and bass community.
You know
when American drum and bass clubs were so grimy that we were like, I mean, it was fancy. No, it wasn't. It was compared to everywhere else. I mean, it would have worked. I'm not rapping in a pair of headphones.
Be like, Track, you done did too many Bookham shows, bro. Chill out.
Have you guys ever MC'd into a pair of headphones though?
Oh, standard.
All the time, everyone.
For real?
I think I've done it with Reid one time at Concrete.
I've never done it.
Wait. You've never MC'd in a pair of headphones?
Nope.
What?
I bought. Here's the thing. On the real, as soon as I started MCing, I bought a microphone, and I couldn't MC at all. I mean, I couldn't MC at all really. I'm saying like I started like on the radio, and then I bought a microphone like 2 weeks later.
Bro, Reid, tell him we was in trenches. Like you'd show up.
Trenches. We had like the turntables were set up on like some cinder blocks and some shit, and it was like always the 8th room, and they'd always be like, "Oh, here's a fucking broom closet for your drum and bass with your."
Oh, I remember that.
And then you go in the main room, and it's like trance, and they have like all the subs, and you go in the drum and bass room, and it's like one broken speaker, and that's the whole sound system, and he's playing out the monitor,
farting all over the place.
They used to do us wrong all the time,
yeah, bro. And then they'd be like, "Yo, you want to get on the mic?" Like, I'm not booked. There's no mic here. What are we doing? I got a headphone. Like, all right, I guess this is what we doing.
You'd be like, "Yo, so where is the stage?" And they go, "Yo, this is the stage."
Oh,
yeah,
this
there was
here.
no
Okay.
Look, we had all that too. All I'm saying is that I always had a microphone.
All right, well, you was fancy.
Yo, you was prepared.
Toronto scene was more evolved.
Yes, for Toronto is always.
No. This is in Buffalo. It's crazy Stone Age, but I'd refuse to be Stone Age.
No, I'm just kidding, Buffalo.
No,
you're just not old enough. That's all.
Oh no. No, he's been around.
I might be the oldest one here.
Maybe.
Well, we're not gonna have that.
Yeah, we're not. It's like we not
wait a
doing that
minute.
on there. We can talk after.
So,
anyway,
Reid.
so moving on. Play Me Records. How long is that? Hey, speaking of Play Me though, like for real, like, and I can speak to this personally because I always found it a pleasure whenever you invited me to join whatever young artist you were bringing up on Play Me. Like you have been at the forefront of bringing up people through that label, and it was always a big deal for me to collab with new artists too. Like I wasn't always chasing the whatever. It was like, yo, this new kid sounds fire. Let's make a fucking beat. Like he did it, and you come off with some sick shit. We made videos together. Like we've made a lot of good tunes together, from literally every genre on the goddamn planet. Like
Absolutely. 10 years, long time.
yeah. How did Play Me start?
I don't know if you guys remember Subsonic, Mark Subsonic, like
yeah.
this drum and bass producer from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He had a label called Subsonic Sound, and his distributor, Symphonic Distribution, asked him if he would like to do a other genre label, and he didn't like any other genre, so he hit me up and asked if I wanted to do all the A&R, and he would do all the business side of it. And after one release, he started fucking with me and trying to tell me what we needed to put out. And then he got mad at me because I was arguing with him and was trying to hold my ground and be like, no, we're not going to put out this trash. You told me you don't like Electro House. Like, I'm not going to listen to your bullshit.
Oh, God.
And then he stopped talking to me. So we were getting, back then, if you didn't make a certain amount of Beatport sales per quarter, your label would get dropped from Beatport. Oh. So I hit Symphonic up and I said, hey, Mark has not responded to me in like a month because he's mad because he wanted to sign some bullshit. And they were like, yo, real talk, we don't like him either. He totally And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they were like, yeah, we'll just switch the label over to you. And they did. And so since then it's been ours, and Mark and I, we're cool. Like I think he regrets not sticking with it because we ended up being very profitable and he would have like made money off of it. But he really understood that he was being an asshole and didn't fault me for doing what I did.
Business is business.
I couldn't wait to get you because I love.
So how Play Me Too started?
Naming names, I love it.
Say what I say. You know what you was getting into.
A lot of shit. But we had some good releases at the very beginning. It was like the Be Rich. I had this Be Rich remix lined up.
Hey, shout out Castle.
That song called Leaving from Mars, and that like once that song like hit on Beatport and got in like the top 10 or whatever, and like from that point we had like the best run of like at the time of early I don't want to say dubstep because I'm going to offend people who
No, you can say whatever it is.
I'm not arguing like that American bro step is roots dubstep, like not saying that. That's a whole other conversation, but for North Americans dubstep sound, we really like put on we like were one of the big top like 3 labels doing that sound when it started. Absolutely. We like helped make this whole thing explode, and it was really amazing to have been a part of that and see so much of it just
How many artists have been through Play Me at that time? I think you're like responsible for a lot of come ups right now.
I mean, by now it's been over 400, but back then
well, boy, I should have asked the question a little bit better than I guess now, but 400, but regardless of that, that number itself, well, let's just say, a lot of people knew and the brand was branded, and a lot of cats were looking for the beginnings, and a lot of cats became bigger artists, even like, I guess, after Play Me and all that. So you played a heavy conduit towards, a heavy conduit to that. But so Play Me 2 is the subsidiary to Play Me, right? Am I bugging?
Yeah, no, we got Play Me 2. When Play Me became very successful, Beatport offered us a direct deal, which at the time in 2010 was like a huge thing that everyone wanted, that you couldn't just get a direct deal with Beatport because it meant you got a better percentage of royalties than everyone else. So they offered us a direct deal with them. So that's why we created Play Me 2. And then after a certain amount of time, we shifted the focus. Once Beatport stopped doing that as a thing and we put everything under Symphonic, we shifted it so that it's like the newer artists come up and Play Me 2, and then they graduate to Play Me, and it's more established artists now on Play Me.
Nice.
So that's how it is now.
Gang.
Wow.
Gang is what we're saying.
Good times. We do a release every week, like still to this day.
Yeah, facts.
Damn.
Well,
and good release too.
I asked 12th Planet this, so I'm gonna ask you the same thing.
Oh, here we go.
It's we here, man.
Hot seat.
But what exactly is dubstep today in 2020?
Dubstep in 2020?
It's
I mean, that's it depends geographically where you're located, how you're gonna answer that. Like for me personally,
well, you're an east to west person, right? you know.
No, but I mean, like, in Europe, I don't know what it means in Europe. I'm not sure if, like, the sound that is original dubstep, what two-step, like, boring two-step became dubstep, became whatever, like, that's one thing. What American dubstep is now today is like a mashup of like rhythm and bro step and weird, where all the bass music genres are like meeting at 150 to 160 beats per minute and being like, we're gonna experiment as fuck, like try everything. Like, I don't know. It's just like an EDM umbrella thing.
Yeah.
Let's rephrase this question because
go ahead. Because I got Sugar Matt saying fast dubstep now. You see it, right?
It's always funny. We laugh because T asked this question because he's so completely removed from the dubstep scene, like altogether.
Absolutely.
Unapologetic.
It's all right.
No, it's fine. It's I don't even know what that was supposed to mean.
We're not. It's a music show, guys. We got to show love to all genres, please.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's good for you to have this convo because this is going to lead into a couple combos I definitely wanted to poke from you. But you've been around since the dawn of American drum and bass. You've seen the changeover to dubstep, and you have navigated both worlds. First question I have to ask is, what do you think was the catalyst for the drum and bass, for the dubstep explosion
in the U.S.?
In the U.S. specifically.
Oh, that's such a good. I love that question because that helps sort of like define these things for people who don't really understand the history. In the U.S., we had a lot of producers who were producing drum and bass, and we were getting no fucking love from the U.K. and other scenes. Yep. Nobody wanted to fuck with us. And a lot of producers like 12th Planet and Kill the Noise and people who were really dope were getting no love. And they were like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm spending all my time and making all these tunes. These fucking assholes sign my tunes. They don't pay me. They don't do anything. They don't put the tune out. We're getting dicked around 8 Ways to Sunday. So fuck this genre. Let's go make this easy ass shit that is so simple to make. We already can engineer light years ahead of this. We can just take everything we know and put it into this little 140 format, and boom. That's how dubstep in the US became a thing of critical mass. Because prior to that, dubstep had a nice underground following, the same way that drum and bass and breakbeats and all these other things had its own little niche underground following. But it did not have what it took, like roots dubstep, the scream banga type of shit, did not have anything that was ever going to appeal to a mass audience of Americans, because Americans like fucking rock music and hip hop, and they don't understand like dub music as a mass population in the way that people who are raised in England, like dub and like Jamaican music is a huge part of just the regular culture, even for like white people. It's known, it's a known quantity. Like it's not like that here. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because as big as those sounds can be and are, it's not ingrained in the pop side of things. While American dubstep translated in a pop way, and it's funny because you're literally repeating everything I've already said a million times. But what's funny is what they did to dubstep is what we were trying to do to drum and bass. The difference between dubstep and drum and bass is the simple fact that I feel dubstep took a bit of a more commercial route drum and bass was never willing to do. And I know you're itching at the bit to comment on this part of my question, because you and I unfortunately differ in this one small part. And it's good because as passionately as you talk about both forms, it can set the baseline and the foundation for the fact that you also believe drum and bass shouldn't be fucked with as it is right now. Correct?
Was that a question for me?
Yes.
No.
You don't believe. I think the things that would make drum and bass more acceptable here would probably be taking it to a more commercial route that dubstep kind of took without I'm not going to bash it.
Oh yeah, I don't want that to happen to drum and bass. I never want to see that happen to drum and bass, because what happened is like all the assholes that only care about money and are like parasites of the scene, like manager types, moved in and made a market out of this thing. Like the disillusioned metal kids and Hot Topic kids who didn't want to like identify with that, they sold them dubstep. Do I want someone to sell drum and bass to those people or some? No, definitely not. I don't think that would be the right way to go. Drum and bass is like a very special thing where it takes a level of you cannot passively consume drum and bass in the same way. And I don't like rhythm in itself and all of the hard dubstep. It's a little harder to get, but it's still that commercial like rock hip hop beat. It's like the same. It's very similar. Like the fastness is what sets it apart. Like the tempo of it being slower, allows you to like put that all there.
It's like seeing the Matrix. That's how I can look at it, because there's so much going on and how they all connect. Some things are moving fast, some things are moving slow, some things find a way. It has its own glide that is, in a sense, hip hop, if I could say. But like, it just has the originality of it. It's immense, so to say. I think it's actually more funner than, and in some respects, to hip hop, simply because of the speed and where it goes and the rules broken, which is everything again back to hip hop. Pardon me for all the hip hop things, but I'm just saying.
No. I mean we tie all things together at the same time.
Right.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, like we considered drum and bass an acquired taste. We all knew that from Jump Street. Like there's the parts of the science.
Best wine ever.
I play drum and bass with people, and they're like, we've had this joke too, that I play drum and bass with people, and they're like, man, it's just the same thing over and over. And I'm like, dude, there's like 85 patterns I could explain to you in the last 10 seconds. Like that. But they don't.
A techno show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like
they go the T word. The T word is back.
So it's funny. Like even dubstep, from early dubstep to the newer dubstep, there's a science behind that some people just will never understand. You know what I mean? Like there's things I loved about drum and bass music in general that I heard in some things in hip hop that people never really. That's why I like the Master Aces and why I put 15s in the trunk of everything I fucking owned. It's, you know what I'm saying? There's a thing there that drew us to it, and when I found these other forms of underground music, I was drawn to them because of that. Drum and bass obviously took it to a whole nother literally scientific level for me. It's like it's almost like how rappers can't listen to raps like normal people can. Like we overanalyze everything, you know what I'm saying? It's like I can't just enjoy a fucking tune. I have to That's what drum and bass did. It was like unlocking a whole fucking world of shit. Like, oh wow. So of course when you went and made dubstep, it was just taking those things. But even early dubstep, the bangers, the screams were doing that too. They're bastard childs of drum and bass as well. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and garage and like dub and all these things. Like they were doing awesome. Like what they were doing was amazing and super unique. It just like we don't have the cultural bedrock for that to have become as big as what bro step, how Skrillex was the one. It took a fucking ex emo rock singer dude making bro step to get all these kids to like really fucks with it, and he had to go to Noisia. That's like the fucking thing that people don't like connect the dots with, is like when Skrillex wanted to learn how to be Skrillex, he had all this money and all this time and this label, and he knew that Noisia was the best, and he learned from Noisia. He went to Noisia and learned how to fucking sound design like a motherfucker.
So
beginning.
So my question still is, do you think there's room for both? That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. There's room for everything.
No. Not dubstep and drum and bass. We know that there's room for both, especially you and I. We dabble, and there is no line for us. I couldn't, and I'll scream
I'm
that
saying
shit
there's
today.
room for pop drum and bass and just regular underground drum
I don't want to call it pop.
Pop and bass.
What's the name of that such a hard line.
On YouTube.
I mean, dude, if you look at the United Kingdom, if you look at the way society regards drum and bass, it's like built into the cultural fabric. The same way that hip hop is like woven into our cultural fabric, it is like that there. So for it to become something to that level where it could sustainably have both, it would require like a huge cultural paradigm shift to achieve that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Fair enough.
We don't have the musical education to even
We didn't even care about
the. Tried to do it here.
After rock and roll, we just said to hell with it. Maybe jazz carried on, but jazz eventually just became everything else. You know, I think after somebody wrote the "fuck disco" shirt, every music changed. You know what I mean? I actually think, and no offense to any dubstep lovers, I sat down with some Grammy dudes at a big night, at a dubstep night, and listened to Grammy dudes say dubstep is the new rock and roll. And I swear to you, maybe 2 weeks later, nobody heard dubstep anymore. You know what I mean? Just like, whoa, so it's gone? You know, not to say it in a way like that.
Definitely not gone.
It's not gone at all.
No, but what I'm saying is that it just peaked and then it just kind of just fell right back down on some.
But everything.
I disagree with that. But go ahead.
I disagree with that too.
Like heavily.
I will say this. Okay, so do you remember the initial dance music boom in the States about 95, 96, 97? And there, the Crystal Method is real big. The Chemical Brothers were fucking huge.
Yep.
Like in the States, everyone was expecting that to be the thing. Like I'm talking like on MTV, on Top 40 Radio. We were getting a little bit of that in there. Okay, now that all kind of went downhill. Now that's not to say that all those acts can't draw a shitload of people at big parties and festivals and stuff. They do, but when you're talking about the general pop culture radar, there's a certain you got to get to a certain peak, and it felt like dubstep got to that, and then it just kind of dipped right back below it again.
You're wrong.
I don't think that dubstep has like gotten any smaller. I just think in terms of when you're talking about like the mass culture, mass pop culture in America, very little breaks into that radar screen, and I don't think that dubstep is in exactly the same place as it was.
I disagree, and the person who has a label can probably explain this better than I can. But
I need to hear. Well,
no, I mean, you make a fair point about like in the wider cultural whatever, like the people who didn't like its interest in it has faded. I'll agree with that. But in terms of its actual fan base, it's only growing. I don't think that like it may have been dismissed by pop culture as the next big thing, but it hasn't actually, in the sense of EDM and ticket sales and genres across wherever things are happening, it's not getting smaller.
Well, that was my point. Like, remember the first like dance music boom, like the audiences didn't really shrink; they got bigger. The thing, but like I said, in the pop culture sense of everything, like what you see on TV, what you hear on Top 40 Radio, that's a different story.
What happened in the late 90s, right after that, they came along with the fucking Rave Act and all this bullshit that like culturally shut a lot of that down on that level. So I think that's where that kind of went away, where it became really negative. It was like it had a moment because no one knew really what it was about, and then 5 minutes after they figured out what it was about, like all the conservatives were like, we don't want our kids fucking with this. And then everyone was mad about it.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel it's really weird. So like, I disagree with the pop culture thing because of the simple fact that I feel like dubstep is ingrained in so much pop culture that maybe a lot of people aren't paying attention to. I feel like when you talk pop culture,
random car commercials,
right? When I feel like it's gotten so pop culture that it's completely embedded right now. Like it's not even a thing anymore. I think not only that, I think dubstep has taken over. Has shown the festival market what it really could be. I think they are a grand part of why festivals are fucking everywhere right now. Like it went from electronic music festivals like here and there and pockets and like super big ones to now it's everywhere. And I believe dubstep had a good problem. I will say I believe drum and bass has more of a culture in the long run, but dubstep is definitely already. It's gone. It's never going to get smaller than it is now.
But what I'm saying though is like, how much are you? What I'm saying is, how much are you going to see dubstep in top 10 radio?
I don't think that's
a lot. You hear it in songs all the time.
Right.
Yeah,
like it's not labeled as dubstep. It's just the breakdown of a fucking Taylor Swift song.
Okay, now Reid is touching what I was about to say is that this is why I asked what is in 2020 what is dubstep. Because what I hear now is a mix of everything underground all in one. Just under a dubstep undertone. So
Right.
if
Same
I
way
have
that
a little
would be like
technical,
EDM.
right, you know, it's
That
like
would have
right,
never happened without drum and bass, though. Let's keep that on. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Like none of this would have happened without drum and bass.
But that's
Like,
only because of what the sound design brought to everything.
facts.
It's crazy.
And what's even cooler too is to put it in more tangible terms. Remember when the Roots put out the song with Erykah Badu?
yeah.
Yes.
Technically Jill Scott.
For
Shout out
Hero,
my
shouts
Philly
to For
crew.
Hero. We know what you're talking about.
Shout out my Philly crew. It was really Jill Scott. But anyway, when they put out that song, You Got Me. And remember they played that little bit of drum and bass part at the end, which
Shouts to
was
Mark.
Questlove's dedication to drum and bass. Don't let anybody
Right.
tell you fucking differently. He's
Yep.
quoted it. Remember how everybody did that and they were like, oh shit, drum and bass
It's
is
going to be on.
amazing now.
Yeah, it's on.
And,
Let's go.
and technically to them it didn't. You're saying the same thing about dubstep when it actually is doing that very thing. It's actually becoming the breakdown in a Taylor Swift song, a very huge part of Billie Eilish's fucking career. It's literally
Very huge
ingrained
part of
in
Billie Eilish.
everything you see right now, and none of that would have been possible without drum and bass. So the two things are tied together. I'm here, Reid. You know what I'm saying? I've been fighting this hybrid fight. I've been fighting the hybrid fight for a long time.
Listen. Someone brought up an interesting point in the chat. They just said dubstep and trap merge. I don't know if they merge, but how much do you think
Totally merge.
that has
Dubstep created trap. Yeah.
Hold up. What I'm saying. Well,
Festival
depends on-
trap. Speak.
Hold up. Yeah, I was
properly.
gonna say it depends on which
Okay,
trap
alright.
you're talking
EDM
about.
trap and trap are two different things.
Right.
I got
Exactly.
water in here. Don't worry about it.
What I'm saying is, how much do you think that has led to the what I don't even really know what I'm looking for, but like the way that dubstep and I hate calling it EDM. I don't like that term, but dubstep and EDM and the way that its tendrils have wrapped its way around kind of everything. How much do you think that like that festival trap has like played into it?
It's
Okay. When did trap really begin?
Which one?
Good question.
Yeah, trap like 2012.
2012-ish, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly heard in well, at least from my experience, mostly heard along the lines of where dubstep parties were popping. You know, when we was doing Weapons
Atlanta.
Webster Hall all the time.
Let's keep it a buck. It was Atlanta. It was the DJ Nappies, the
Right.
heroes and villains now, the Mayhems of the world. Shout out to all my Atlanta crew who were working at Grand Hustle and taking rap music.
Wait.
and putting it over
See?
dubstep.
Let me. So trap music then was really drug music, right? Like talking about being in a trap, and then
But
trap
that's
turned
okay,
into.
So whoa. Two things. One thing needs to be explained here first.
I just need to. That's what I'm saying.
Trap is hip hop. Period. There's
Right.
no.
Right,
We are
Gucci
talking about the Flosserdamuses and all that stuff of the world. That is EDM festival
That's
trap.
EDM trap.
Okay.
That is not a bad word. They are just two completely different things. You know what I'm saying? But it started from Heroes and Villains, DJ Nappy, like all the cats down here in Atlanta taking hip hop trap rap beats
Okay.
and placing it over dubstep until it manifested into what
Okay.
it is.
All right.
You know what
Good.
I'm saying? So, you know, Atlanta.
Yeah,
Atlanta
I
is the
just
world,
needed it.
basically. It's like-
Right, you know, T.I. had an album called Trap Music, and I'm like, well, is T.I. now calling him? He was calling himself the king of the trap. I'm not lying.
And
He
you
still
know,
is.
We can argue
Right.
the
Still is.
T.I. Jeezy Gucci Man thing, but you know that's for them
Right.
to argue out right now. That's not for me to speak on. But as far as festival trap is concerned, you need to separate the two.
All
But
right.
it originated because the reason why it became trap, even EDM trap, is because they were taking those beats, placing them over dubstep, and then those producers who also produce hip hop and also produce drum and bass as well, if you really want to get into it, Cyanide, gang, you know what I'm saying, is out there working with everybody and their mama right now. So is Mayhem. So all these cats were taking these sounds, and then once it became a thing, then they twisted it and made it a hip hop thing, and then the lines became blurred, basically.
The lines became blurred, pretty much. As
Yeah,
well.
and then by putting all those like big room house sounds in it, like brought the EDM crowd fully into something that they had previously rejected.
Yep. Hip hop will find a way. They were like,
And
"What's
it's just
over
an interesting
here?"
Part of time. It's just an interesting part of time because I think you know, what is it from let's say 08 to about 2011, 20, almost 2013. I think you get a golden era of dubstep You had a lot of piping. Look, as a junglist jumping into a dubstep night on Friday, and the lines were around the corner when we went to the weekly drum and bass joint. It was like 2 people in there. It was like music on steroids that I'd never experienced before. So big ups to, of course, dubstep crew. See, I said something nice, for Christ's sakes. And you know, but just that whole era was just so powerful and just so what it was, that I was just a little bit, people started, I guess it can't stay the same. Nothing ever stays the same. So when it started doing like what it's doing now, I wasn't sure if it was really what was it still considered dubstep, or was it something new that I need to catch? You remember Moonbaton came out, with reggaeton? There was like about 20
Footwork.
Right, twerk. I like Footwork from Chicago. That's fire, but whatever. Yeah.
People got to remember too, man. Like a lot of that shit. Look, it's all from all these producers have,
right,
especially in America, and I think that's why a lot of my arguments online back in the day were like, "Hey, like we all came from somewhere else, so stop it." But whatever. Like, people don't realize how big Baltimore club, Jersey club, how much influence all that shit had back in the day. Like, people don't know Diplo was like killing Baltimore club way back in the day. For anyone knew who he was, like he's from Philly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all those fucking sounds. Shout out DJ Slink, fucking cats like G Buck who make that kind. Like, yo, like all the. Here's the thing, and then I'll answer a question that might solidify your question of what is dubstep now. Because of someone who has spent his entire career hybrid gang and mashing any sound I can together, that's all that's happening now. Is all these kids, man, that are coming up making music are from fucking all over the place, and it's because of what the groundwork we laid, and they don't give a shit about genres or none of that shit. They're gonna make whatever they want to make, and they're just doing it without question. Like I know I can name 4 people off the top of my head right now who have full projects of dubstep,
homie that we played last
hard style. Like they don't give a shit. It's just so what it is it's a complete blurred line, which is what we asked for, because the lines were causing.
How we got from when I started raving, it was like 10 different genres in one room, and then there was a chill out room where everything was presented as like, this is all the headliners, whatever, to it becoming completely genrefied to the point where people were like, when I started DJing, the fact that I played two-step in Speed Garage, people used to shit on me for that. They were like, this is trash. Why would you do that? Like, you weren't supposed to play multiple genres. If you were a jungleist, like, you better only play jungle, right? Like, in just our lifetime of being involved in the scene, now it's come all the way back around to now people make everything and do everything, and people are just going in the opposite end of the spectrum where they're making like noise collage stuff, and it's pretty nuts.
It was different back in the States for us because a lot of the pushback was to maintain the sanctity of it all, and I understood that. But it was a contradicting force for us because we didn't come from that, and anyone who pretended like they did, we had a nice little chat on Facebook back in the day, because people were like, drum and bass. I'm like, 1, you've never been to England. They don't play stuff like this over there, so stop lying. 2, like, you were listening to something else before you got here, so why are you mad that I'm the same? So when we started blending shit, it was just a natural progression of things. We've been the mashup culture since 80s. Like that's you know what I mean? That's what we do. Like, so when we started doing it was cool. A lot of the UK cats got flack for it when they'd come over and do it because they knew that's what we were about, and it was highly successful. I mean, I remember when Delta Heavy played a Metalheads party and dropped some dubstep and almost got into a fight. Like, it was just like, it was like the worst possible thing you could do. Shit was fire, and I was in the back like, I mean.
Yeah, I remember a story of. I think I was about to say, I remember a story of a popular DJ playing at, like, I think Movement Festival, and he asked the crowd something like, "Do you want to hear some dubstep?" And everybody said no. And he still played it, and people were mad about it for like a minute. Like, "Oh, you didn't play that dubstep?" Like, wow, what was going on? What did we miss here? You know,
it went both ways.
Yeah.
People still give Diesel Boy shit too for his flirtations with dubstep years back, and just people. It's weird, man. I don't know. Those same people probably are still mad that people don't play vinyl anymore.
That's a
You can
knife.
find these people in the comments on Facebook.
I don't even go there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Facebook.
So Reid, let's switch it just to back. Let's just a little drum and bass-esque. Stateside politics, stateside growth, which is what I'm really talking about. Not politics, but growth. I feel like over the last couple of years, people want to see more markets open up, and I kind of want to ask you, because you honestly are like one of the biggest heart and one of the strongest minded people from some new spaces or spread that culture here around the States, in a sense. Like, how do we get on? Well, I guess we're on festivals, but how do we hit like pockets, like somewhere I haven't heard drum and bass before, like Atlanta?
That's a fascinating question. I mean, I've always kind of believed that by, like, when I used to play a lot of other music, I would always play like 30 minutes of my set. The last 30 minutes would be drum and bass, so that if they didn't like it, they could leave, but then people would stay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's so tough. Like the right. It's a tough balance between trying to get this to happen organically and like making the thing that we don't want happening to happen, where we end up getting all these people that aren't really there for it, just there because it's cool to them today.
And then tomorrow it's not, right?
Just like the meat market aspect of clubbing is just like the thing I don't ever want to see in drum and bass. Like, I don't care if like fucking Kim Kardashian fans truly come to love and embrace drum and bass. Like, I will embrace them back. But I can't even with the whole drum and bass has never been about an image. It's always just been about the pure sound, and like it has to retain that to retain its integrity.
Can't we?
Well,
I know why you guys say this. I'm just like, I wish there was a way.
Amani, I'm kind of with you on this, because I used to talk to a friend of mine about this. The deep house parties in Buffalo, like people go out, and it wasn't like a big like glam fest, but like it was kind of a sexy time. Like people would come out, like the pretty people come out, right? And we're like, all right, how do we get the pretty people to come out to drum and bass shows, and they're not like sketchy juggalo looking people? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's hard. It's a hard thing to look. I get it, and it's a hard thing to do.
You know what I mean?
I'm just saying the more
like,
people, the merrier. But you're right. I don't want those people in here either. I get it.
Companies that have money give drum and bass the respect that it deserves. I think we have a way to achieve something like that. Like when the Insomniacs of the world, when whoever has the money to present certain types of events where we don't need to have 2,500 tickets sold. We can have 300 tickets sold, and that's fine. But it requires like a concerted effort from everyone involved in the industry across the board, including agents and managers and artists, to not be greedy about what they want to get paid. Like
agents.
So many of us.
So it's not going to happen, is what you're saying. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I think now more than ever, we have the opportunity to make it happen because drum and bass has such a loyal, niche, underground, stable following. Imagine if companies with money finally decided they could just deal with this and present this thing as a thing with a long-term plan to somehow, like, I don't know what the plan is. My plan was never had anything to do with making money, so I can't really justify all that on that. But if people could learn to just not be greedy, we could create a really self-sustaining industry, like out of just having 300-person shows in different places. And this is so feasible, and it just requires someone being willing to, who has the money, to put the money up to put the proper show on with the proper sound in the nice venue where it's not like there is a dress code in a sense of you don't want to see people like smoking crack in the fucking lines, but like
Jesus Christ.
You know, like
so judgy.
All right.
Like, when I played at Output, I was struck that was one of the places.
Oh, Output night.
That was one of the most proper presentations of drum and bass that I've ever got to experience in the United States. Where I'm
absolutely.
like, this is a dope sound system. There are like no fucking phones. Nobody's taking pictures to like make some social media bullshit.
Except for me, but don't say nothing. But yeah.
There's sounds. Yeah, some people took some pictures, but like I'm saying, it was not a thing where you're like see and be seen. That's the aspect that we don't want. We don't want the meat market, the see and be seen thing. People are coming there because they want to hear music that is fucking dope as shit and produced to like the highest levels, heard on a sound system that can accommodate this fucking dope shit.
Okay, let me
real
ask
quick,
you
two things.
That's the golden child.
Confusion, thanks for the follow. Valiant, do not
Nobody
forget that. Whatever you're about to say. I do want to point the nail on the head here. That is the biggest shift in what you said, and it wasn't even part of your main thing. It was the part where you said, I don't think about it because I'm not here for the money. And that thing right there is the main component, and literally everyone in drum and bass. And the second that one person starts to do something and that switches, they run off, and that's what they're doing. So we need someone who's already has the money, who doesn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Not
just
concerned with it.
Be the patron of drum and bass.
And that's a hard thing to ask, in this world.
Kick it off, because once
we need a Clive Davis. No, we don't need a Clive Davis. Never mind. That was early Clive Davis, but not
Quincy Jones.
Yeah, Quincy Jones.
All right,
even.
so let me. Okay, so you are. There's two aspects of you that are going to play into what I'm about to ask you here. You are both a woman and extremely well traveled as a touring DJ. You've seen a whole shitload of scenes. You've seen a whole shitload of rooms, and you've been doing it for a long time. That you've seen the many phases of drum and bass throughout North America, like change and stuff like that. So I'm going to ask you two things, because someone brought it up in the chat. Number one, drum and bass is not only a boys' club when it comes to producers and promoters and things like that, but also when it comes to people who attend the shows. The other thing that I kind of want you to maybe drop some thoughts on is, how can we get to the point in North America where people are going to come out to support domestic artists as opposed to just coming out to support the headline, like the UK headliner? People come out to support UK headliners. They do not come out in the same
answer to that, really.
Reid is one of the people that can transcend that. Like there's a few people who can transcend that. I've noticed over the past 20 years. Reid can, Diesel Boy can. There's a few that can, but not. I mean, but the thing is though, is like if you get like if you let's say Flight from Texas.
All right, if
you bring him for a show, it's a gamble still. Are people going to come
up? But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Well, hold up, but I know, but listen, what I'm saying is, at the same time, this is an artist who is on paper more accomplished than, say, your average regional DJ. But people aren't going to come out necessarily to support in numbers. But if you brought some UK head that like hasn't really actually done a whole lot for drum and bass in 15, 20 years, but they're like an old school head, people will come out in fucking droves. And I want to know what it's going to take for Americans to support Americans. And I also want to know what it's going to take to increase women, not just in the participation aspect, but also in the audience aspect of
before you answer that, I just want to say this, and y'all don't kill me.
I asked the woman, but whatever. All right.
Yeah. Well, this is how it goes right now. Let me let you know how it goes.
Let me pre-mansplain this whole situation.
Yo, hold on a second. No, let me stop. But don't kill me. But we are guests in drum and bass.
All right, hold on.
That's a whole other comment. Let her answer the first thing. Let her answer the first thing. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'm going to take that as my starting point. We are guests in drum and bass, but it seems like we have reached a tipping point in drum and bass where the UK labels finally realize they actually need the US in order to enact their business plans of what they're going to do. So they have started to put us on. Slowly but surely, we are getting the things that we were trying to get 20 years ago that no one was giving us the time of day and birthed all of dubstep. Now we're starting to get little teeny tiny inroads. So as this continues, it's like a twofold approach that we need to take in order for this to actually be a thing. One, people need to keep releasing. People like Flight, people like my boy Dr. Apollo, people like a lot of people that are coming up right now in the US that are getting on dope labels need to just keep doing all of that. And as those labels put us on and put the new people on, their profile grows. It takes a long time. Like I always tell people who are getting into it, be ready. Do not expect that you are going to even make any money off your drum and bass. Give it 10 years. It's a 10-year plan. There's people who do it in under that, but there are plenty who never even get to that point.
Ever.
So, but people are starting to do it faster. So that's part one, is that the UK labels, the foreign labels are starting to recognize us and put us on. Great. That's fine. Part two is we need to become more supportive of our own, like the Play Me Records, like the labels that United States producers own. Like, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on any other U.S. labels right now. But
you're fine. Play me is it.
Play me.
We have artists that are really dope in the U.S. And the more that we support our own labels and our own artists from around our country, that allows us to build our scene. Now, the more that you see people's names, then you start to be able to bring people for shows. So again, it goes back to, you have to like be willing to take what your actual draw is. Like, people can't be pushing to get more money because some agent like wants to make a certain amount of money on it. Like, what should dictate the amount of money that anyone's going to get paid in a city is how many people are going to come to see you. And if you know that, if I know that if I go play in Seattle, 200 people are going to buy tickets, guaranteed that I can sell $215 tickets, then that's, I'm not very good at math, but something like a $4,000 show. That's it. That's the fucking budget of the show. Like, people need to understand that. So if people start doing things like that, where they actually understand, I'm going to throw a show and I'm only going to charge $5 because I'm going to bring Flight out because he's new. He's not going to, he's only going to make $500 at the show. Maybe he's just like, you know, the first time he goes, he makes $300 because that's all that he can support. But that's what it's going to take. But then the next time that they bring him back, if he continues to have more releases and they're firing,
he's consistent and he's right, exactly.
It grows the same way that all of these artists got to the place where we know of them right now. We can do that with any of us. It just takes actually supporting it and not trying to throw a show and charge $20 to bring Flight when you know he's only going to sell a $10 ticket. I'm just
disclaimer.
Numbers up. I'm not,
disclaimer. Roti and Poutine is co-signing what Reid is saying, but we are using Flight as an example, not actually saying that this is what Flight makes. Also,
we love you, Flight.
Tight DJ Apollo.
I feel
that is all.
This is a reason that I have been able to sustain my own career for so long, because I've never had anyone who was like a big manager or any agent type give a fuck about me and my career. So I always told agents things like that I want to play certain shows because I want to play the show. And I've had agents that would argue with me and tell me, oh, I can get you twice as much money to play this other event for this other promoter. And I'm like, but this is the promoter that has the people who come to the fucking church of this music.
This is the culture promoter. He's the guy that really represents.
Only when you make a culture are you able to monetize the culture. Like, trying to sell people fucking bullshit, it doesn't work. Trying to sell them fucking $30 tickets to bring Aphrodite, like, again, for the 8,000th time, even though you guys
Yes, somebody is saying it.
Doing this
Stop
shit.
Bringing him.
It's not. No, you can bring him. But then when you have that show,
there's room for
put the dude from your city who's on fucking Ram on the show and highlight the fact.
And also, we need to educate people to just go to, not just support the artist, not just support the label, but support your fucking town too. It doesn't matter.
Well, hold on. But that was my question. Hold on. That was my question, Armani. That was my question. How do we get people to actually support their local? How do we get people to actually support things that are not necessarily the shiny, gleaming, glittery covered headliner?
It's education.
You know what I mean?
Good sound.
How do we
give them a
people?
safe space to congregate?
Right.
You let the locals participate in their own scene. You let people be active participants and draw their own friends into it. You be inclusive instead of exclusive.
Grassroots.
Okay,
we're doing it
let's
here in
move-
Atlanta with the
let's
grassroots.
move that
It's a community effort too. It's not just one people doing it. It's not here in Atlanta. We were trying to do it before COVID started. Is the one point where we all got together and we're like, all of us. There's 5 promoters on this flyer. There are people who are jumping in who have been in the scene for a long time, all pushing each other. It was about inclusion and making sure so that it didn't matter who the party was. You're going to come out and just party because it's a party for drum and bass, and that's all that mattered. It didn't matter if it was a 1,500 person room or a 300 person room. We all were trying to work together, and we'll be continuing that when it starts back over. But that's the education.
A good example of that, and it's a pretty question for everybody here. How did you feel when at the end of a night, somebody comes up to you and says, "Yo, I don't know what this is, but the way y'all was doing it, this was amazing. I'm coming back," or whatever it is, and you just created a not just a new fan, but a new person who's pretty much looking forward to hearing something different right now, and might even become something more worthwhile, valuable down the line. You get 100 of those guys, you get 1,000 of those guys, really. It's water, fertilizer, sun, take care and nurture, do it again, repeat, and trust me, this is for anything you're doing. If you're opening up a club, or you want to open a store, or you put your mind to it, you put the care into it, and you stay consistent, you will see something eventually.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. Because part of my question that I really wanted addressed wasn't we didn't get to it yet, so I want to get to that now. we know that as guys, if you have a dance floor full of dudes, that dance floor is going to be pretty cold.
Not my party.
Oh, shut up. Anyway. So what I'm saying is, like, well, look, we obviously have a severe shortage of women in the audience these days compared to like back in the earlier days. I have noticed it a little better lately. In Toronto, we've never had that problem as bad as a lot of other cities. But if you look at, like, I was just looking at my Spotify statistics or whatever, and like 83% of the people who are listening to my music are male. And I would venture that maybe that it could be close to that proportion that comes out to drum and bass shows. And I'm wondering, what is the answer to increase representation in the audience? Not just like DJs and producers and so on. I'm talking about like in the audience. And as a very successful woman touring DJ who's seen a hell of a lot, how would you approach that?
What is your appeal to the women, pretty much, like in that kind of sense, right?
No. That was your appeal to women.
Jesus Christ.
Just in general. Like.
The fucking worst mansplainer of all time, track. No, I do think that one of the only ways to get more women involved is to have more women. Let the women fucking play the shows. And without all this fucking judgment about what people are wearing, like, that shit is so tiresome. Like, it doesn't matter if you feel comfortable, like, covered. If you want to be sexy, don't give a shit. But women need to see other women doing the thing. I can't tell you how many women have come up to me over my lifetime and told me that I am the DJ that gave them the confidence to become a DJ, to seek their own path into doing music or whatever. And that I'm very grateful that I can be that for people, but then we need to let we got to keep having more of this, so that the more women you put on that really know how to do the thing, not putting women on like as a token thing or anything. Like, there are plenty of women. I'm part of a few groups. There's a collective called EQ50 that's run out of London. It's like, Light and Mantra and Storm and a lot of really awesome women that I met at Sun and Bass last year. And they are really doing a lot of things, like pushing labels to do a mentorship program with a woman, holding contests to get women to submit their tracks and just put themselves out there, because I think a lot of women do still feel intimidated in terms of they don't have a lot of people to talk to when they do try to ask, male friends or whatever, if they're learning to produce, if they're learning to DJ. They get fucking mansplained. They get talked to like they're fucking ding dongs. And like, it's a real turnoff to a lot of women. They feel very unwelcome when instead of like, if a dude finds out his dude friend wants to be a DJ, he's gonna be like, bro, let's have a sesh, bro. Girls, it's always like some other shit. They always have something.
You don't sound like that. No, I'm just kidding.
But like, yeah, it can't be about tokenism. It has to be about acceptance, and like the mansplaining really needs to stop. Women need to feel comfortable going to guys to show them their tracks, to get feedback, and without having someone think they're sleeping with someone because they got feedback on a tune or they like did a DJ set. Like, there's so much shit that goes into like, it's not fair that women have to be so much more tough than guys about all the things that will get flung at them. It's very unfair. And you know, the more that guys can do things like hold sexual predators that you know accountable, shit like that, you'd be so surprised like how many bad experiences women have had in the scene with dudes, with famous dudes, with promoter dudes, with all of these people, where it ends up cutting short a woman who was trying to do something because something happened, and if she told someone, they didn't take her seriously, or they said she was crazy, or they blacklisted her, or they just kept supporting the dude anyway and didn't care. Like, the whole culture needs to shift in a way that detokenizes women. Like, women are not here to be go-go dancers exclusively or whatever. And if they want to be a go-go dancer, like, more power to them.
Right.
That doesn't make them like an object that you can.
Right. It doesn't make them lower or anything. Like, they are actually part of the entertainment. So why would you?
Right. Just like women DJs, like, you don't know how many times I've been like touched inappropriately by fucking dudes, promoters, other artists, just because I am a woman in their space, and they wanted to, maybe in many cases they were being well-meaning and they're being friendly, but it's like they never account for the fact of how like, being a woman is so gross in life, and being a woman in a club where people are fucked up and inebriated at all hours of the night can be even more intimidating. So just men holding other men's behavior accountable. If you see your friend like touching a woman's waist in a way where he doesn't know her, like, say something. Don't be afraid to tell your friend, like, hey man, like, you know,
you just sweated to so-and-so out. What are you doing? Pretty much.
Yeah, like, what, do you know her? Like, why are you touching her? Like, she doesn't, like, ask the woman if she's okay. And sometimes you may get the wrong reaction, whatever. Like, there's no perfect way to be an ally, but men being fucking allies and taking women seriously and not fucking talking down to us and not mansplaining, not over touching, so many things, little micro things can be done to make women feel more included, where then they're going to show up because they will see themselves reflected. And by the way, respected.
And by the way, I didn't bring this up, by the way, as like kind of like the token question for the token lady on the show.
No,
I really just wanted to bring this up just for the benefit of the viewers, because I feel like, honestly,
one of the most important
voices
in the stateside scene is here with us. What she says will be heard. 100%.
Not just that, though, and to piggyback off of both of what you said, but I think what Reid's even, I'm not going to, that sounds like a mansplaining, so let me say that to me as a man listening to this and stepping back and shutting my mouth while you talk, it shouldn't even have to take someone of your stature to say this. This should be the norm. It's almost like the same conversation I'm having with Black Lives Matter, and justice should be normal. Arresting people shouldn't be a gift. This isn't a, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't have to take one of the most influential women to come on our podcast and spit truth bombs like that for us to be like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like, no, it's like that should be regulars. But we do appreciate you being here. And that's the other thing, too, is you have been at the forefront, you know? You've never even taken it like that, too. I don't think you... and not from the way I've seen it, and maybe that's just a testament to the way you carry yourself. It's never been, I'm a woman doing this major thing. You were just out there handling your fucking shit like you're supposed to, and like kept it moving. So like even when these conversations that came up about people not getting credit, and you stepped behind those movements, it was never in a sense like I didn't get my just dues. Like we know you worked your fucking ass off to get to where you are, and that type of shit resonates without, you know what I mean.
I want to
I'm explaining that right.
I want to say somewhere along that golden era, we had Reid alongside a couple of really
We had a lot of women.
amazing women that was DJing.
Dude.
We had like 10 women in the late 90s. We had 10 active female drum and bass DJs that were
murdering. Not bullshit.
It was great. And people, like promoters tried to pit us against each other all the time. And it was like, but it didn't matter.
Right.
We were all doing our thing. Everyone was getting booked because they had skills. And then
like you DJ Rap Storm, for God's sakes, is like one of my favorite people in the world. Like it was just like, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird because
but even here in stateside we had remember Crunchy used to be around for a minute. Empress, we'll give Empress a shout. Shouts to Empress.
Jenna,
from
Shorty.
Doomer.
Yeah.
Doomer. I haven't thought about her name.
Carol C is still killing it as a vocalist.
Carol C, who is an amazing vocalist as well, killing it.
Audio Angel. We're gonna jump into the vocalist.
What was homegirl that lived in New England that passed away last year? I forgot her name, man. I'm really mad I can't remember her name. From New England.
Trixie.
Trixie, amazing DJ, amazing DJ, and
Shorty.
Yeah, you know, there was
the chat's blowing up too. Yeah, let them on though.
Yeah, you know, let hey, Chatty, let us. If you forgot any names that we need to mention here, do bring them up. Let us know, because
like Sage, Starrise.
Oh, Sage, hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
San
Francisco had like the Syrup, Sister SF.
Mm-hmm.
Roxanne and Electra.
A collective back then.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there were so many women doing the thing, and then. Just
shout out Shannon Swain.
Too many. The whole CD market, we were all like we had like these CDs, and then there was like mixed CDs, and then the whole CD market collapsed, and then it was like only certain people made it through that.
Such as yourself. What was the name of the CD? Resonance, right?
Resonance, and then I did Life After Dark.
Life After Dark.
I did like a bunch more. I did one on Moist Music, and I did another one on BML. I did a bunch of CDs.
Yeah, you've been around for a bit. You've done some things.
Many
you sent me some music too.
All of the things. Now
you sent me some music. Since you shouted out the homie Dr. Apollo earlier.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Apollo, what up?
You did send me some music.
I did.
You want to intro? This is the both of you, right?
Well, the one tune that is called Ion, and it is the remix by Sarah Mora and Vince by Vince. That is, we held a sort of like a remix contest hosted by Icon Collective, the production school, and we picked a winner of the contest to remix our tune, and this is the winner of that remix contest, and it's dropping, I don't know, in like a month on Play Me.
Quick disclaimer, if you want to hear it, you mute your screen and unmute the actual Twitch. I had to switch computers today, so the audio thing. It never works up until today when I went to go fix it and work it, and then I messed it up before the show started, so I had to transfer everything over to this computer, and I'm saying that on air because I don't give a flying fuck, because y'all know how we do at this point. But if you do want to hear this, just mute your screen. We'll play it on Twitch. But this is Dr. Apollo and Reid Speed. This one's called Ion. You want to hear it? Here it goes. Exclusive. Roti and Poutine every Thursday night, 10 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific. You got the special guest Reid Speed. You were live and direct with your Armani Rain, Valiant MC, the T.R.A.C. Big up in the chat. Dr. Apollo's in the chat.
Few moments later.
Chat's going crazy right now. That's dope. So that's a brand new one. You said that's coming out in like a month?
Something like that. Something like that.
I'm not sure. I have to look at the schedule to actually tell you the answer to that.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
We won't hold you to it. No, I understand. For all of us. Pre-op stuff today. That was fun.
Has COVID slowed up the business a bit for you as well, or is it has it been more people checking in on listens?
She had
or
to take a sip of water before she answered me calls.
No, it hasn't been like. I feel like I've had a very outlier COVID experience where prior to COVID, I used to spend my days sitting in this room, like producing and doing other shit. Now, during COVID, I sit in this room and I do my job at Apple during the day and like do music stuff on nights and weekends. I stream like almost every weekend. It's been so much fun, but I don't feel any pressure. I have been so fortunate to not have any financial pressure from this pandemic. Like I've been gainfully employed the entire time and it never happened. And I sit in my house and work from my house every day. It's like a beautiful thing.
So I brought it up in the chat. So a couple of people have asked where your DJ name came from.
The infamous origin story.
Me and Reid used to race all the time, and she's like,
on your mark. No, stop.
So back in New York, when I started DJing, there was this DJ named Darkstar, and he was probably like my first DJ friend in the New York City scene. Like I met him because the day that I already had tapes of his. I was like a fan in a casual way. Like really I didn't know what he looked like or anything, but I had mixtapes of it. I bought his tape, and then the day I bought my turntables, I took them to Satellite Records because I didn't know how to like assemble something. And I knew Scott. Scott always talked to me. Scott, one of the owners of Satellite. So I brought them there and was like, yo, can you guys help me? And he directed Carlos to help me. And I didn't realize. And he kind of made this whole funny thing about it. And then like told me that it was him. And then basically like invited me to join his weird like DJ crew, but it was kind of just a lie, and he was really mean, and it didn't really work out. But he was like the one I used to hang out around his friends. I was still in high school at the time, and I would just like hang around him and his friends because I didn't have any friends that were into raving or DJing or anything where I lived, and I would go hang out with them. And he would always like say that he was going to let me DJ and practice with them, but he never did. He would like make all these weird rules. He like put the turntables up on these milk crates so I couldn't see them. And he's like, well, in the club, it's going to be like that. But he taught me some really important shit, which was like, you need to learn how to do the pitch control with both hands. Never touch the record. Like, because people will be like pushing it to correct it. And he's like, don't do that. Like, if you touch the record, I'm going to like whap you with a ruler.
Daniel's son steps. Wow.
Like, and yeah, so I don't know. So yeah, he just like taught me all this shit about stuff, even though he never let me practice with him. And then like when I would be walking around, I was always so excited. I'm just kind of a spaz. And he was like, whatever, basically like you walk and you talk and you do everything so fast. You're like really annoying. You need to slow down. Like you need to stop. You do everything at Reid Speed. And that was like.
That was the beginning.
That was the name. Like
and
I wish it was a fuller story, but
it's like the beginning of every kung fu film.
Every
do not touch the decks.
It fits, you know.
That's fire. So you've got super plans coming up, yeah? You've got anything you want to super promote? I know you've got a bunch of artists under your wing that you're pushing right now. Anything in particular you're excited about? I'm always excited about the new people you bring up.
Yeah, I have so much shit that I'm excited about, and I always forget.
We got 2 minutes. I'm just
you silly.
Oh God, yeah, no, I can't. I'm not gonna be able to answer that because I didn't write it all down beforehand, and we literally have so much stuff. I'm gonna like mess it up. We have so many like good artists, though.
Well, Play Me is busy, is what she's saying, and everybody on Play Me is gonna get played. You know what I mean?
We have a lot of drum and bass coming out. We have like Tobacks and Pico and God, I don't know how to say their name. Pico and Picoda.
Picoda?
Fuck. So like put me on the spot. Picoda.
I think they're in the chat rooms now. I'll play. They're not in the chat.
Not even.
No, we got some tunes from them that are really sick. We have more stuff with like me and Dr. Apollo. We've got Airglow and Exile.
Hey, yo, that Airglow
US
kid
producers.
is fire.
What?
That Airglow kid is fire.
Yeah, he's super sick. Rebel Scum.
Same.
He's in Seattle. And then I'm going to be putting the BBC mix on SoundCloud, so people should go listen to it over there and like love SoundCloud. I'm going to be putting a lot of sets. I've been doing a bunch of sets during quarantine, and I'm going to be putting them online coming up pretty soon. And
do you have a stream schedule?
No.
Okay, that's fine. It wasn't a.
How
dare you?
That was kind of judging him. I mean, like, yeah, the stream schedule.
Hey,
I think we've
speaking of streams, man.
I'm an asshole.
Speak streams, though, Reid. I've been meaning to say this for like the longest. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with awards, but you need to win the best green screen I've ever seen award.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whoever I forgot what show it was. I think it wasn't a hospital, but it was something big. And I was just blown away at what was going on behind you, because I was literally ducking like, yo, look out. And it was like,
look out.
Clean. Like the best.
I have a bunch of different people that have done stuff, and my husband Alex runs all the visuals, and he put together some of the stuff, but I'm curious which ones you're talking about.
Shout out.
Oh man, I can't. It was one of the first Twitch streams that happened.
For one where it looked all like in the void with all the crazy, just
it was madness.
Wild Boys, our graphic designer for Play Me, he had that made for some shit that he did that he never used it for.
Wow.
And he just,
all I know is that I must have typed in the room, green screen is crazy. It was the best green screen. I had to. Yo, did you see the green screen that Reid had up the other day? Wow!
I always laugh with Reid because anytime she goes like super in on the visuals, are like way OP. And it's just like, Jesus, who spent the time?
Art. Some of them is art that I made at Serge's house. I don't know. I thought I saw Serge.
Shouts to Vandal, Draw Me Thursdays.
He made these amazing videos of like taking things of art that I made at his house. Yeah, I have all this art that one day we're gonna do a show, like a gallery show of all this crazy art.
Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah, I've seen some of that stuff.
We gotta speak that into existence so that it actually happens.
Let's do it.
Manifest it.
A liquid set. One day we'll make a liquid set.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like when Reid plays Liquid. Oh boy, everybody's gonna look at me crazy. I didn't mean.
Yo, y'all gonna stop trash talking Liquid D&D? That shit's gotta stop. I'm done with it.
You hate Liquid.
I don't understand it. I'm like, who doesn't like?
I mean, besides my husband, he really hates it.
I don't get it.
Well, what kind of liquid are we talking about here? Are we talking about like that festival stuff?
See,
or are we
now
talking
we're being
about
people we hate.
Let's
break the subgenre down to more subgenres.
This is a fun fact for the thing to leave you with. So in my drum and bass stick folder on my USB, I have 42 subfolders of all the subgenres of drum and bass.
Oh my god!
From lightest to hardest, subcategorized by rollers and steppers.
Jesus.
Oh my god!
So we have liquid rollers, liquid steppers, but if it has no vocals, it goes into deep rollers and deep steppers.
Jimmy,
oh Jesus!
I
still don't know what the difference is between a stepper.
I know that, right?
I'm upset by all this. So anyway, we got one last tune to play, and we'll let you get out of here. This one is called Medusa.
This is myself and Selecta. It's a collab, and it's more of like a halftime / fast dubstep track.
Fast dubstep, people, stand up. I want to see your lighters. All fast up, report to the chatty.
That will make me laugh every time. Every time. I went from a techno MC to the dude who raps over fast dubstep, and I'm just like, I can't win. I don't understand. Anyway, here's the tune. This one's called Medusa. Medusa from Selecta and the one and only Reid Speed. Roti and Poutine. You're listening to Roti and Poutine. Special guest, the very, very special Reid Speed. The MC Valiant, the T.R.A.C. I am the MC Omani Rain. Big up to the chat. Thank you for being here. We'll be up on YouTube.
A few moments later.
Super fire. That was called Medusa Selector Reid Speed. If you want it, send $17 to my Snap Cash App. I'm just kidding. I can make those jokes.
How can I get a Reid Speed remix? I wouldn't hold your breath and wait for that one. It would probably take me like 2 years.
Oh, NYC, shout out to DJ IQ up in here. I see you, brother.
What?
Yo, man, shout out to everybody. There's a whole bunch of people in the
There's
chat
like
today.
you.
Yeah, NYC,
Brought him
Mr.
out.
Remix Oscar.
Hey, real quick, you did another accidental blast to the past, man. That cat looks exactly like the first cat I ever owned as a small child. We named him Snowball.
That looks like your cat.
Well, I had a cat when I was young, yeah. I was never little. I've been 6'5" since I was 3.
Who's that tall kid in the back of the class?
Yeah, it was weird for a while. Why does this 8-year-old have a goatee? Just kidding. I didn't get this goatee until I was
goatee in the lineup.
28. Shit was mad annoying. But yeah, we had a cat named Snowball. Rest in peace.
Snowball, nice name for the white, nice furry cat.
We were real creative.
How many snowballs do they have in The Simpsons? Didn't they have like 8 snowballs?
That's why we named it Snowball.
I'm saying, didn't they have like a bunch?
Yeah, they actually named the number.
I stopped watching The Simpsons after like season 7 or something.
They would call them like Snowball.
I mean, it's a cartoon, so like they're all still in like 3rd grade, right?
Still to this day.
Still,
I wish they would
right?
just grow up. It's weird at this point.
I remember when I was a kid. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. It took place when I was an adult. But Big Bird turned 7 on Sesame Street. They had like a birthday party for him and everything. And he was always saying when I was a kid when I used to watch Sesame Street, "I'm 6." I was like, "You've been 6 a long time." And then one day he turned 7.
You guys are mean.
It's like that suspended reality of fictional shows.
This is why Valiant has trust issues.
Oh, that was hard. You've been 6 for a long time.
Somebody out this bitch lying. Yo, that tune was super fire. When's do you have a due date on that, or am I putting you on the spot again?
Me?
Yeah, yes, I didn't.
Due date for what?
The tune we just.
What are we talking about?
We want you to be
We're talking about
industry.
cats and birds and shit. You know what I'm saying? And we just.
Due date for my cat?
I wait till you're in the chat and
Lord.
then I ask you a serious question. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
We are so professional here. It's fantastic. No, the tune we just played, Medusa.
Oh, that's already out.
Oh, I knew that. See? This is
Sorry.
And around
That
we go.
was like my last release on Play Me.
I did not check that, but now we just checked it. And now you can go check it too, ladies and gentlemen. Head to your favorite DSP and do your thing. So, yeah, we're going to wrap it up. I don't want to keep you too long. You can stay as long as you like.
Yeah.
But I know you've had a very long day.
I have had a long day, and I really need to eat dinner because
You haven't eaten dinner?
No, when would I have done that?
I don't know. No, I feel bad. It wasn't like a knock on you for not eating. Hey, yo, relax. We're friends, damn it.
No, I'm good. I'm fine. I just I'm gonna go eat the food, and then I'm gonna go on a bike ride.
Aww.
I'm over here laughing, going, yo.
Stoned.
We over here asking about food to eat when she dies and stuff. Oh man.
Yeah, like we was just mad. Like went on a food talk for like a really. And now we're over talking while you still haven't gone to eat.
She's trapped.
This is
Reid, I'm sorry for fighting about.
What kind of fucking friends are we? This is terrible. So, like, what are you gonna do after that? No, just kidding. We really appreciate you coming through, man. We can't give you enough flowers. You have been representing in the scene for such a long time. You've been a very vocal and independent, strong, bringing up people underneath of you. Play Me Records has been brought through so many. You've blessed me with the ability to drop tunes and releases. You've given me a platform and so many others. So we thank you for that, and thank you for joining us tonight and hanging out. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
So everybody
appreciate
clap.
Much love, Reid.
Everyone clap in the chat.
You are the one.
We can see if you're clapping or not. What'd you say?
I said sorry. I don't like poutine.
Oh,
That's Valiant's thing. It's
we'll
fine.
put some. We'll make What's that? We'll put that chocolate frosty over the top and call it make a special poutine.
You just
How
made it
about
worse.
that?
That's foul. I don't want
What
gravy
the
in my
fuck?
frosty. What the fuck is
Chocolate
wrong with
frosting.
Frosty
What the
and
fuck are
French
you talking
fries,
about?
you?
bro.
No, dude,
That's
just a
what-
plain old French fry.
Ice cream. Ice cream, not frosting. Not frosting wouldn't be bad, but like that's not the same thing.
I mean, however y'all eat it, you know,
The
whatever.
Wendy's
y'all eat,
Wendy's
figure it out.
frosty is what I think you're trying
Frosty.
to say.
So it's frosty.
You've never been to Wendy's? You don't know what a frosty
still not-
is? Yo, let the woman go eat. Yo.
Frosty and fries is the business. Well, I love you guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks for sitting here. Thanks everyone in the chat for chatting with us. IQ, what up? I know I don't see anyone else, and I'm
It's
logged out.
trillion people on there. Trillion.
Yeah, a literal
It's like
trillion.
pause.
The other Reed says hi, it seems. There's
Okay.
a Lieutenant Reed in
Yeah,
there.
Miles said hello as well. I don't know if you saw him in there. MJ's back in the chat. Big up, homie. Hope you're doing
Salute
well.
MJ.
Yeah.
Hi, MJ.
I mean, we can do
Bye,
the same.
Sean. Bye, everybody.
Have a great night, Reed. Thank you
Love
for
you,
coming.
Reed. Thank you.
Oh,
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 Valentine.
jeez.
loved it so much I dropped it.
Let's talk
Oh,
soon.
there you go. Damn, how do I even turn this off, though? I don't know.
There's
I could kick you out if you want. There you
there
go.
you go.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That was fun. She's
That
always
was-
she's always
That was a
like-
cracker.
Yeah, man.
That was
She
fire.
pulls no punches, and she shouldn't. And you know,
Yeah, she's not going to hold back, especially after
Ever.
all the stuff, We needed that, and I think people needed to hear that on top of everything else that we're doing. I think we're doing an absolute service for all stateside heads, especially. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys who be in action, some have mythical stories. Some people never really met them. They only see them on stage. And when we get a chance to just show the humanity in them, I think it makes them that much more lovable in the end, no matter who they are. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
big salutes.
It's fun for Reed too, because she's
Uh-huh.
like that all the time. So it's like there's no, you know what I mean. If you've ever paid any attention to anything she's ever had to say,
Yeah,
she's
will.
been the same
yeah,
person.
Got some. Yeah.
Yeah, she's never changed, and she never will. And it's awesome. So.
Woof.
Some real guys that came through. Thank you for everybody in the chat. There is actually too many names for me to name right now, but they are from all over. So shout out from the east to the west and the UK and anywhere else in the world tuning in right now. I think we're doing all right, man. Again, can't thank everybody in the chat enough. Shout out everybody east to west, all across seas who've been tuning in. You guys have been making noise, not just us. You know what I mean? There are people hitting us up and understanding what we're doing and shedding loves. We got people lined
Thank
up
you.
to come in, and that's not on some brag talk. That's grateful. That's
Grateful.
gratifica- You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
absolutely.
I'm honored that anyone's even paying attention. So I'm glad that we can bring this content. Hopefully, bring you guys a smile in these very very strange times. We have considerably talked the political talk down a bit.
Considerably.
It's been intentional. No, don't do it. Anyway, so we really appreciate y'all coming through, man. We hope we can be your mental oasis.
The birth is coming after Kamal. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, real quick, we got some channels for you to catch these replays on audio.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the YouTube channel set up pretty soon. So
I have merch too. I was going to show y'all, but it's on the other computer. But we'll work that out too. Next
Yeah,
show.
if any-
coming up, we got a lot of things, and honestly, we enjoy doing this. So I speak for everybody by saying thank you again, and tune in next week because next week is heavy.
They're all heavy. But we got
Everyone in the chat needs to search for Roti and Poutine on YouTube and follow or subscribe. Is it follow or subscribe? See, this shows you what I know about YouTube.
Wow.
Subscribe on YouTube.
I know. It's late.
Wow.
And if
it's
you- and
literally
if you-
the first thing every YouTuber says ever.
Please follow and subscribe.
Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button
all right,
so you get
all right.
Jesus.
Okay.
You made me
All
say
right.
the thing I never
Okay.
wanted to say.
All
Anyway,
right.
you can go to our YouTube
All
right
right.
now. The Goldie
All right.
episode is up. Roti and Poutine. just search it. Once we get 100 subscribers, we will actually have our own personal domain name. So the more followers, the merrier. We would super appreciate it. The Goldie episode is up. I will have more episodes up very, very, very soon. I have I've been busy with doctors and shit, so sorry.
And then look for Valiant MC Radio on SoundCloud. That's where I'm hosting the episode, the audio version.
Vandal, thank you for the follow. Big up.
So that you'll be able to listen to it on your favorite podcast platform. So yeah.
And that's it. Pay attention to V Recordings. We're dropping the next single again.
Gang, gang.
Waiting on the day. We got pretty much two or three more months of single drops, and then we're going to do something really special for y'all. Don't want to speak too fast until I actually see it, goddammit. But it's I think you guys will love what's coming up in the future, amongst the many other things. So, big ups to you guys. Stay tuned.
Thank you so very much, everybody. You guys have a wonderful night. Remember, mental health is not something to be taken as a joke. If you feel something, you need to say something, please do it for the sake. If you need to, hit one of us up in the DM. In the meantime, stay safe, take care of yourselves and each other. We super, super love y'all. Thank you so very much. Roti and Poutine. I was about to hit the wrong shit.
Oh.
Can't do nothing right now.